We're diving headfirst into Episode 2 of 1923, Season 1, Nature's Empty Throne. And let me tell you, if you thought the first episode was intense, this one takes it to another level. Surprise voices from the past, deadly encounters in Africa, emotional gut punches, and brutal land disputes. This episode pulls no punches. Let's break it all down and try to make sense of the chaos that is the Dutton family legacy. So, Episode 2 of 1923. I think I've finally gotten things a little more organized and understood. When Elsa's voice suddenly popped up, we were both surprised, excited, and, if we're being honest, emotional. Hearing her again hit harder than we expected, and I don't think we really grasped everything she said right off the bat. We had to rewind and rewatch that intro voiceover just to catch it all. But it made one thing clear. Spencer is James's son. He's the third child. Elsa's brother, John, James's other son, isn't mentioned, but I assume he's still around somewhere. We met Jacob, James's brother, who took the boys in after Margaret died. He rescued them and brought them in. As far as I know, Jacob has no kids of his own. I originally assumed Spencer was Jacob and Cara's son because of the way she wrote to him, but it makes sense. They raised him like their own. You'd write to him with love, concern, and ownership like any parent would. That family tree? I think I've got it figured out. At least for now. Rewatching Elsa's voiceover was essential. Her words made it clear why Spencer is the focus, and my biggest question remains, why is he in Africa? What is he doing hunting dangerous animals and protecting people from creatures that could tear him apart in seconds? That ending from Episode 1, with the woman being attacked by that massive cat, panther, cheetah, leopard, whatever, was absolutely insane. Then it lunges at him, and it just cuts to black. Wild. Now we know a bit more. Spencer went through something horrific during the war, and we're left wondering, did he ever come home? Did he stay deployed overseas? And how the hell is he receiving letters in the middle of Africa? I mean, it's 1923, sure, but mail? When you're hopping from city to city, sleeping in tents, no fixed address? That's insane. How did they even find him? But back to the real question. Why is he out there? What drove him away? Did something happen after the war? Is he running from something or trying to find something? That mystery has me hooked. Then we get back to the classic Yellowstone theme. Land, power, and the people desperate enough to risk it all. Here comes the conflict. A sheep herder takes his enormous flock onto Dutton land, thinking no one's going to bring cattle there. But Jacob, being a Dutton through and through, does exactly that. The ride was brutal, but it's his land. He's going to use it however he wants. I get that people are starving, but trespassing on Dutton land? That never ends well. Land disputes were ugly in 1923, and they're still ugly in the modern Yellowstone timeline. That's the unshakable legacy of the Dutton family. People constantly trying to take what they built, and the Duttons standing firm. Jacob fits that mold perfectly. No nonsense, no mercy. He handles business without flinching. Harrison Ford, as Jacob? Absolute perfection. But then there's the other darker storyline. That horrifying school. Native American girls trapped under the control of priests and nuns, being whipped, abused, dehumanized. Two of them whisper about escaping, about husbands, about freedom. The scene was gut-wrenching. It felt real. It felt wrong. There's no way to justify what's happening there, whether these girls were taken or their families were manipulated. Either way, it's sickening. You can't look at that and not feel rage. These institutions claim to educate and civilize, but what they really did was strip children of identity, culture, and safety. The violence, the control, it's unbearable. I'm ready to see that place burn. Now, as we continue, this story, the legacy of Yellowstone in 1883, lingers heavy. We're seeing how the land shaped the Duttons, and how the Duttons shaped it right back. The family tree is still a work in progress, with mysteries surrounding characters like Jack. He was supposed to get married, but then someone took a shot at him, and we didn't see how that ended. Wild stuff. The message was clear. The herd comes first, even before weddings. His fiancée was understandably upset, but Cara, bless her, smoothed things over. She's the quiet powerhouse behind the scenes. That opening scene with Cara? Chilling. Her scream after she killed those men. Pure, raw emotion. You didn't have to know her name to feel the pain radiating off her. She's fierce, maternal, and just as strong as any Dutton. Overall, episode 1 was a banger. It laid a powerful foundation and gave us a lot to chew on. And episode 2, it raised the stakes, emotionally and physically. Then the reaction scene. My God. That wild animal attack? You feel bad for the creature, starving, feral. But what it does is brutal. Spencer gets wrecked, clawed, bleeding. And still, he's standing tall, tending to wounds, commanding respect. Total badass. But then, tension explodes. A man confronts Spencer about his friend who died. Turns out, those cats were a breeding pair. Spencer only mentioned one set of tracks. The man accuses him of hiding the truth and demands he say he's sorry. Spencer stands his ground, tries to explain, but eventually, he breaks. He says, "I'm sorry," again and again. It's raw. It's human. It's heartbreaking. The only reason the man doesn't kill him right then is because he needs Spencer to get him to Nairobi. This show doesn't let anyone off easy. And then, back to Montana. Chaos. A shootout. A sheep herder claiming the Duttons shot first. A brutal fall from a horse. Injuries. Tension boiling over. You come on my land with your prairie maggots and shoot at my pen? Prairie maggots. Never heard that one before. Tensions are rising, and the lines are being drawn. Episode 2 is a turning point. The stakes are deadly, the emotions are raw, and the Dutton legacy is growing darker with every step. We're only 2 episodes in, and this journey is already unforgettable. Buckle up, ranch hands. We're just getting started. The Dutton family lived beneath a set of unspoken laws, forged not by courts or men, but by tradition, blood, and an enduring refusal to yield. Whether it was Jacob who governed them, or a deeper, more primal force, something passed down like scars they could not say. Perhaps it wasn't any one person at all, but the fire within them, their refusal to surrender, that dictated everything they did. Upstairs, the faint, sweet sound of Elizabeth's voice drifted through the wooden beams of the house. She sang to herself as her feet waltzed across the floor, the soft rhythm of rehearsal echoing her excitement. Her reception was fast approaching, and at 19 she floated through her days in a cloud of anticipation and lace. Her innocence painted her world in pastels. Born in Boston and raised among society's comforts, the frontier was foreign to her, an exotic painting she'd wandered into, unaware of the darkness behind the brushstrokes. The only thing her hands had ever touched with true purpose was a piano key. "Don't worry," said Emma with a quiet smirk, her eyes tracking Elizabeth's soft footfalls upstairs. "My son will fix that, if he hasn't already." Emma was Jack's mother, and she often wondered where his streak of recklessness came from. It didn't come from her, that was for sure. She was measured and cautious. And John, her husband, was the most deliberate man she'd ever met. It was a mystery how Jack, impulsive, burning with youthful rage and fire, had emerged from such methodical roots. But then again, love had a way of lighting the match, and if Jack was the gasoline, then Elizabeth was the flame. The fire between them would only grow wilder. Questions lingered like smoke. "So, Jack is John's kid?" a voice asked. "Then was that John with Jacob and Jack, at the fire?" No one seemed to know for sure, and yet, the silence around the matter said more than words could. Out in the wilderness, the camera panned to the aftermath of carnage. Ashes swirled in the wind. Only one man was left standing. His silhouette cut a solemn figure against the blackened earth. The horror of it. What was lost, what was burned into the screen. And yet, amidst the darkness, there was loyalty. A horse, wild-eyed but devoted, stayed beside its fallen rider. That loyalty, pure and unbreakable, seemed to be the only anchor left in a world unraveling. Elsewhere, inside a grim and gray office, a visitor demanded to see the superintendent. "Do you have an appointment?" came the dry response. Bureaucracy was the gatekeeper now, cold, procedural, unforgiving. A man stood before them, dignity in his spine despite the pain in his heart. My granddaughter is in a government boarding school, he said, in North Dakota, but there's a Baptist day school only a quarter-mile from my home. Rules were recited, lifeless and sterile. The law says the school must be within 2 miles of the child's primary residence, with immediate family. You are not immediate family unless you adopt her. His words struck like stones. The mother is dead, he said, voice tight. The father works the reservation. Not abandoned, the man insisted. Working. But logic and compassion had no place here. You must legally adopt her. You'll have to go before a judge. The man stood in stunned silence. There is no judge, he whispered. You are the judge. Then go to Crow Agency. There's a magistrate there. Each word was a slap. He had waited 8 hours for a door to open, and behind it stood nothing but red tape. His only desire was to bring his granddaughter home, to end her suffering, but he had no weapons against a system that turned love into a legal technicality, and miles away, that child, Teonna, suffered. At the boarding school, cruelty was wrapped in the guise of piety. Sister Mary ran her hands roughly through Teonna's hair. Don't worry, child, she said with false sweetness. I'll wash you. But the filth wasn't on Teonna. It was in the hearts of the women who beat her, degraded her, stripped her of identity. Sister Alice's hands were cold and cruel. Teonna was silent no more. You batter my face with no provocation. You run your filthy hands across me, Teonna snapped. And when Sister Mary threatened her with righteousness cloaked in abuse, Teonna did not shrink. You think I'm your adversary. I'm your salvation, Sister Mary hissed. I am the bridge from the extinct civilization of your people to this thriving society. I offer you the skills to be a mother, a wife. I offer a bountiful life. But Teonna saw through it. You've sworn to kill the Indian in me, she spat, fury blazing in her eyes. Lay a hand on me again, and I'll kill the rest. Her words rang out like a war cry. Thousands of miles away, in the golden light of East Africa, a different story was unfolding. Spencer Dutton had become a legend, part myth, part man. Women whispered his name like a dare. Spencer Dutton, the war hero, the man who killed beasts with his bare hands, a hunter of monsters in lands where death wore many faces. Alexandra was different, sharp, intelligent, unafraid of shadows. You're Spencer Dutton, she said, eyes twinkling. The American war hero who hunts man-eaters. He didn't indulge the myth. Don't believe everything you hear. I want it to be true, she replied, her voice laced with the thrill of danger. For the romance of it. There's no romance in dying, Spencer said. But dying, that's the most alive you'll ever feel. She smiled. There's romance in that. He tried to warn her. He was no prince, and his path was treacherous. But she was already chasing the wind. Later, dressed in sequins and surrounded by lions, Alexandra raised a glass. To the bride, someone toasted. She shares their spirit, and their mane. But her heart was elsewhere. She'd been sold like land, placed on a train toward a destination not of her choosing. Her engagement was a transaction, not a choice. I've made a real estate deal, Jennifer, she said bitterly. She wasn't built for gilded cages. That night, she watched Spencer from across the lodge. You're just like the wild, she said softly. Migrating from one watering hole to another. He warned her again. Where I'm going, it's dangerous. Then let's look death in the eye, she said. He stared at her, stunned. By the storm she carried inside. She grabbed her bag, ran to the car, and without a second thought, leapt into his life. Got room for another? Not really. Too bad, she smiled. The car roared away, dust rising in their wake. Two souls bound not by logic, but by a hunger for more. Let's not settle for fine, she whispered. And in that moment, the world shifted. He wasn't alone anymore.